7 police cruisers surrounded my house like I was some kind of criminal. Red and blue lights flickered across my lawn, neighbors peeking through blinds, and right there in the middle of it all, Patricia Worthington, coral blazer, manicured claws on her hips, screaming that I didn't belong in her neighborhood. The wild part: she didn't know I owned the very road those officers had driven on to get here. 3 days earlier, I thought I'd found peace. My name's Mason Blackwood, ex-military cybersecurity specialist. After 15 years of contracts, I'd saved enough to buy myself a quiet life. The house at 47 Meadowbrook Lane showed up in a federal auction, a clean colonial seized from some corrupt pharma executive. Gorgeous mountain views, fair price, and most importantly, no HOA. Or so I thought. Moving day started perfect. Boxes stacked neatly, the movers ahead of schedule. Then out of nowhere, a white Escalade rolled into my driveway, followed by a Mercedes and a BMW, all shiny and synchronized like a parade of privilege. 6 people stepped out. The leader was Patricia's short blonde hair shellacked like armor blazer so bright it hurt to look at. "Excuse me," she barked, marching right up before I could even say hello. "We need to discuss your situation immediately." Behind her, 5 board members in matching navy polos formed a semicircle blocking my garage. It was like a scene out of a bad reality show. HOA Patrol Judgment Day. "I'm Patricia Worthington, president of the Willowbrook Estates Homeowners Association," she said. "You've made a serious error purchasing this property without HOA approval." I put down the box I was holding, trying to stay calm. "There's no error. This house isn't part of your HOA." Her laugh was sharp, practiced fake. "Every property in this development falls under our jurisdiction. Your unauthorized move constitutes multiple violations." Then she pulled out a manila folder with a document inside, supposedly the 1987 incorporation charter. Except I noticed something instantly. The font. Calibri. I'd spent years reviewing classified documents, and Calibri wasn't even invented until 2004. That paper was younger than her manicure. "Interesting document," I said, snapping a photo with my phone. "Mind if I review this with my attorney?" Patricia's eye twitched. "You have 24 hours to submit a $5,000 initiation fee and your quarterly dues. Failure to comply means immediate enforcement." Her husband, Bradley, the kind of guy who peaked in high school, stepped forward. "We can place liens and force a sale if necessary," he added proudly, like he'd rehearsed the line in a mirror. "Based on what legal authority?" I asked. "Community standards supersede individual property claims." Patricia recited word for word from her little HOA Bible. Before I could respond, my elderly neighbor Walter Harrison appeared. 93 years old, sharp as a tack. "Patricia, you're embarrassing yourself again," he said. "That house has never been part of the HOA. I've got the original maps." Patricia's smile cracked. "Mr. Harrison, please return to your property." "When you harass my neighbor with fake claims, it is my property," he said firmly. Her tone dropped cold. "Interfering with HOA business violates Section 12. I'd hate to see someone of your age face enforcement proceedings." That's when I saw it, the way she used fear like a weapon, against a man 3 times her age. "Walter," I said quietly, "maybe you should record this." She turned back to me, voice dripping venom. "You have 24 hours. Submit to HOA authority or face the consequences." Then she walked away, already dialing her phone. Walter muttered, "She's calling it in. Did the same thing to the Johnsons. They sold in 3 weeks. "Calling what in?" I asked. "Cops. She'll claim you threatened her." He wasn't wrong. 4 minutes later, I heard sirens. 7 police cars screeched into my driveway, officers with hands hovering near their weapons. Patricia stood off to the side, arms crossed, smirking like she'd just summoned divine justice. "Sir, step out of the garage," the lead officer ordered. I did, hands up, calm as I could. "I'm the homeowner," I said. "Legally armed, permit here, weapon holstered. I haven't threatened anyone." Deputy Thompson approached. Big guy, steady eyes, ex-military, you could tell. He scanned Patricia's little crowd, then back to me. "Mr. Blackwood, we received reports of an armed man threatening HOA board members." "That's a lie," Walter called out, still filming. "I saw the whole thing. She's the one who made threats." Thompson's jaw tightened. "Do you have proof of ownership?" "In my office," I said. He followed me inside, looked over the federal purchase documents with the U.S. Marshal's seal. His eyebrows went up. "This is federal property transfer. You own it free and clear." "Then maybe you should look at this," I said, showing him the page about easements and private roads. He frowned. "You see this parcel code? You don't just own the house. You own the private road leading to it." When we walked back outside, Patricia was mid-rant about trespassing. Thompson shut her down flat. "Ma'am, you have no authority here, and making false 911 calls is a crime." Her face drained of color. "That's impossible." "Not according to the U.S. government," he said. When the cruisers finally rolled away, Patricia glared at me. "You think paperwork will protect you? I run this neighborhood." I just smiled. "We'll see." That night, Walter came over with a dusty tube full of old blueprints. "Here," he said. "Look at this. The original developer went bankrupt before transferring the road to the HOA. Your parcel includes it, always has." It hit me. Patricia and her board had been collecting road maintenance fees, thousands per home, for decades, for a road they didn't even own. We calculated the math. 48 houses, $2,500 a year, nearly $4 million over 40 years. Fraud on a neighborhood scale. The next day a knock rattled my door. A woman stood there holding a banker's box, Rebecca Sterling, the HOA treasurer. Her hands trembled, but her eyes were steady. "I was fired this morning," she said, "for asking too many questions. But I think you need to see this. Inside that box, invoices, emails, fake repair bills." Patricia and Bradley had created a shell company, Willowbrook Infrastructure LLC, funneling HOA funds into offshore accounts. $2.4 million, Rebecca whispered. "And she's known about the road deed for 5 years. She buried the title search." For a moment I just sat there staring at the numbers. So much corruption hiding behind pastel blazers and polite HOA meetings. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept asking myself, was I overreacting? Maybe I should just move somewhere else, sell the place, start fresh. After all, I came here for peace, not war. But then I remembered Walter standing his ground while Patricia threatened him. I remembered the cops aiming their flashlights at me like I was dangerous because of her lies. No, running wasn't an option, not anymore. If Patricia wanted a war, she was about to get one, but mine would be fought with law, not noise. The next evening I heard engines again. 2 black trucks rolled up, Apex Protection Services. 6 guys in tactical gear stepped out. Patricia followed, phone pressed to her ear, barking orders. "Establish perimeter. He's considered hostile." I watched from my security cameras, called Thompson immediately. "She's got private security surrounding my house," I said. "Hang tight," he answered. "They're on public ground for now. Don't engage." But Patricia couldn't help herself. She marched to my front door, flanked by her fake enforcers. "Mr. Blackwood, this is HOA security," she yelled through the door. "We're here for a safety inspection." "You have no authority here," I said through the speaker. "Refusal to comply carries a $500 daily fine," she shouted, performing for the cameras. That's when Thompson's cruiser screeched up. He stepped out, already annoyed. "Ma'am, you've been warned. This is harassment." The head contractor looked uneasy. "We were told this was authorized." "It's not," Thompson said firmly. "Pack it up." As they left, Thompson turned to me. "She won't stop Mason. Whatever leverage you have, use it soon." And that's exactly what I did. By sunrise, I'd made 3 calls to my lawyer, to a construction company, and to the FBI's white-collar crimes division. By noon, workers were drilling holes for an electronic toll gate at both ends of Willowbrook Private Drive. When Patricia saw it, she nearly drove through the barricade. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" she screamed at the foreman. "Installing a toll system on private property," he said simply. "This is HOA property." I stepped out from behind my truck. "No, it's mine." Her face went purple. "You can't block access. People live here." "I'm not blocking," I said calmly. "I'm charging a usage fee for my road, $50 per vehicle for non-residents." Bradley jumped out of his car, veins bulging. "This is imprisonment." "Then sue me," I said. "But before you do, maybe ask your wife why the FBI's on their way." Right on cue, a black Suburban pulled up. 2 agents stepped out, jackets marked FBI. "Patricia and Bradley Worthington," one said. "We need you to come with us regarding wire fraud and embezzlement." Patricia looked around wildly, but no one came to her defense. The neighbors who'd once worshipped her now watched from their lawns, whispering. "You did this," she screamed at me as they cuffed her. "You destroyed our community." "No," Walter said from behind his fence. "You did." When the FBI car rolled away, the neighborhood erupted into chaos. People couldn't get to work. The HOA board called an emergency meeting, except the meeting hall was on the other side of my toll gate. Everyone had to pay $50 to attend. I went, of course, along with my lawyer, Rebecca, and Walter. Inside, tempers flared. "This is extortion," someone shouted. "James," my attorney stood up. "Actually, it's not. Mr. Blackwood owns the road. You've been using his property illegally for decades." Rebecca took the floor next, holding up spreadsheets and emails. "Patricia and Bradley embezzled over $2 million. Here's proof." The room went silent, then outrage. Harold, the vice president, pale and trembling, called for a vote to suspend the Worthingtons permanently. Every hand went up. By the end of the hour, the HOA officially recognized my ownership and voted for full transparency. I offered them access passes, $1 a month for the first year. Fair, legal, symbolic. 3 months later, Patricia was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison. Bradley got 5. The FBI uncovered $16 million across 3 communities. She wasn't just corrupt, she was industrial-scale evil. The day of her sentencing, I stood at the end of Willowbrook Private Drive watching FBI vehicles roll away their tires, humming over my asphalt. No neighbors cheering, no celebration. Just silence, the kind that follows when a bully finally loses her grip. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt tired, relieved maybe, but mostly done. That night I poured myself a drink and reread her arrest warrant. All that power, all that arrogance gone because she never read the fine print. A week later I got a letter from prison. Neat handwriting, 3 pages long. Patricia had written me a review of my management of the road, critiquing the toll prices, suggesting improvements to the gate system, even sketching traffic diagrams. Even behind bars, she still tried to run the show. I framed the letter and hung it next to the deed, just a quiet reminder that fake authority always collapses under real ownership. The road's still mine. The HOA still exists, but now it's what it should have been all along: transparent, democratic, harmless. And every morning, as those same neighbors drive over my road to get to work, they pass the small bronze plaque at the gate that reads, "Willowbrook Private Drive, established 1983, recovered 2024. They might grind their teeth, but they can't deny it. Because sometimes justice doesn't shout. It doesn't throw punches or call the cops. Sometimes justice just stands quietly at the end of a driveway, holding the deed.